Good evening and welcome to the class of 2027 four-year planning webinar. My name is Nick Boudre, the Career in College, the supervisor of Career in College programs here at St. Clair County RESA. And tonight we'll be focusing on the class of 2027's preparing your four-year career in college plans as you enter high school next fall. Here at the end of your eighth grade year, many of you have multiple career interests for after high school and after college. Many of you are interested in several career paths. Some may be in the same industry, some may be in different industries, and that's okay. Having this knowledge will not only allow you and your family to make well-informed decisions about your career and college plans throughout high school, but will also put you at a competitive advantage for the opportunities that you'd like to pursue. Beyond that, each of you will have an individual plan towards your goals after high school, and there are numerous opportunities for you over the next 4 years to earn college credit, gain career experiences and skills along the ways in programs in your own districts or throughout St. Clair County. Tonight, we have a tremendous panel of current St. Clair County high school students that are great examples of not only taking advantage of every opportunity in their districts, from AP classes to St. Clair County Technical Education Center, otherwise known as TEC, and the Career and Technical Middle College, or CTMC, as well as Blue Water Middle College, BWMC. They also are very successful students in their classes in their districts. So grab a pad of paper. You're definitely going to want to take a lot of notes as we're preparing your plan this evening. Our webinar format is about a 30 to 40 minute conversation with our panelists, followed by a question and answer segment at the end of the night. During that time, you can ask questions via the chat button at the bottom of your screen. If you take your mouse, you can scroll down. There's the button that says chat. The chat box is open. So we encourage you to ask questions throughout the presentation. And then when we get to that part of the evening, we'll read them off to the whole panel or whatever specific panelist that you'd like to ask questions for. So without that further ado, we'd like to get to our first guest. Please welcome Tyler Jamison. Tyler, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Thank you for coming. Tyler comes to us from is senior at Port Huron Northern. He's going to be talking to us a little bit tonight about advanced placement classes, otherwise known as AP. But before we get started, I just want to say congratulations, Tyler, on being named the 43rd winner of the BCAM's Mr. Basketball Award. Many of you know that or are not aware that this is the highest honor for high school basketball players in the state of Michigan. Tell us a little bit about this award and what it meant to you receiving this and the recognition and what it meant to you and your family.
Yeah, well, first off, thank you for having me. Really appreciate being on. And it's just a super cool award. It's something that, like you said, is the greatest honor in the state of Michigan. And it's something I've been working towards for a very long time. So I'm really happy that I was recognized as the winner and that the coaches thought that I was deserving of the award. So thank you. I really appreciate everyone who's congratulated me and everyone in the community who's been behind me this whole time.
Well, it's been so great, Tyler, not only to see you and your family recognized, but it's a big honor for Port Huron Northern and you and your teammates, as well as the school and for people here in St. Clair County. Growing up in this community, it's definitely an honor. So thank you and congratulations once again. Well, let's go all the way back. We have an audience of eighth graders and their families with us tonight. They're getting ready for high school next fall. It's so exciting time. Take us back to what it was like when you were in the same position, finishing up middle school and entering high school. And what was that like throughout your ninth grade year?
Yeah, well, coming in, like I'm sure a lot of you guys are, I was pretty nervous. Both my parents teach in my high school, so I was pretty familiar with it. But even then, I was still a little on edge about what was going to happen and all that stuff. And coming in and not knowing a lot of the people, and at Port Huron Northern, there's two middle schools that feed into the high school. So there's kids from the other middle school that I didn't know as well. And yeah, it was a little, unnerving at first, but it's something that I've gotten used to. And I really, really enjoy Northern, as I'm sure all of you guys will enjoy your high schools, and just get to know people. Don't be shy, try to go out, talk to people that you don't know, because at the end of the day, you're with these people for 4 years, and who knows, maybe the person sitting next to you will end up being your best friend. And if you don't end up liking them, that's okay too. But you want to know, you don't want to go through high school and that person is, or I don't know who that person is. So I think it's really important going into high school to try to make as many friends as possible.
Well, that's great feedback to kick off our evening, Tyler. And that's brought up every year during this event is that anxious feeling about starting at a new school and a big school. You go from being an eighth grader to being, a ninth grader where there's all the way up to seniors that are maybe 3-4 years older than you. Does that anxious feeling and that nervous feeling go away after your freshman year as you enter 10th and 11th and 12th grade?
Absolutely. I would say about midway through freshman year, you'll be very comfortable at school, especially if you take the time to get to know everyone and kind of settle into your classes and settle in with your teachers. You'll be completely fine. And honestly, it's a completely natural feeling to be nervous at first, but it resides pretty soon. So don't worry about it.
Very good. Well, that leads me to my next question is about the classes. That's another thing that's always on your mind, and you're thinking, okay, high school classes. And you were extremely successful in the classroom. You have a very impressive GPA of 4.7, while challenging yourself with 15 advanced placement classes throughout your 4 years. So tell me that didn't all happen in your senior year. Talk to me how that journey started as a freshman in high school.
Yeah, I had a sort of a unique experience because of the quarantine. Similar, my freshman year, really the only option for us was, as far as APs go, was AP United States History. So I took that and I really enjoyed it. And March of that year, when we did our scheduling, me and another one of my classmates, we were like, I really like the AP class. Really want to see if maybe we can Victorian and try to get that GPA up as much as possible. So sophomore year, we scheduled 5 AP classes. Junior year, 5 again, and then senior year this year, I'm taking 4. So I had a good experience with the AP classes. I really like being pushed. I really like the challenge, and I think you'll find that once you settle in and get used to the AP kind of curriculum, it's really not that bad. You'll have homework a lot of nights. You'll have to think a little harder, but at the end of the day, it's still school, and it's not going to dominate your life. You're going to be able to still enjoy other things while taking those AP classes.
So, and let's stay on that AP track here and talk a little bit about an AP class. So many of these students, it's a foreign item that they've never heard about. Talk about what an AP class offers you as a student and the similarities and the differences of a class that is offered in that's just a general class.
So AP classes, kind of the main buildup for the whole year is the AP exam at the end of the year, which for us AP students, the AP exams are starting next week. And so typically with the AP class, it will move a lot faster because you have a lot of content, especially in Michigan, because we start later than a lot of the other schools and exams are in May. So it moves a lot faster than the other classes. And it's kind of trying to prepare you for that first week of May so you can take that exam. And if you pass that exam, most colleges will offer you credit for the class. So for example, I passed Calculus 1, the exam. So when I go to Fairleigh Dickinson next year, I will not have to take calculus again because I already had that college credit. And so that's something that you have to keep in mind because there are a lot of options to get college credit, but I really enjoy taking AP classes because you get the GPA boost. You can still be at your school, and it's really, it's a lot of pressure on one test, but if you study up and you make sure you work hard all year, the tests are definitely not easy, but it's doable. You can pass it. And so that's why I really enjoyed taking the AP tests and AP classes.
Well, and I think you just gave a great description of what AP classes are and what they offer. I started this evening talking about opportunities, and you did a great job explaining, that by passing that exam and challenging yourself, that you have the opportunity of getting that credit at the next level while you go to a college or university. So, and you mentioned this a little bit about the workload. But you're also definitely active outside of the classroom and beyond basketball. So tell me about the sports that you played, the clubs, organizations you were involved in. Talk a little bit about that over the last 4 years.
So I played 3 sports most of high school except for my freshman year. I play tennis in the fall. I play basketball, obviously, in the winter. And in the spring, I run track. I'm also in several clubs. I'm in Strive for a Safer Drive, which promotes like safe driving and things like that. I'm in Diversity Club. I'm in Girl Up. And then I'm also in Student Council, where I'm our class president in Student Council. So yeah, it's actually, I enjoy it more being in those clubs because, as I said, like making new friends, like you get to meet people that you would probably never talk to otherwise. And there's a lot of people who I don't have any classes with. I don't really share a lot of common interests with them, but that one club kind of brings us together, and that makes it so I can, converse with them. And it's just cool being able to know a lot of people and things like that. So I really enjoyed being a part of a lot of extracurriculars. And it also, if you don't necessarily play a lot of sports or you don't necessarily do a lot of clubs, they provide a chance to be a part of something bigger than yourself and to kind of work towards a common goal with people that are also in the club. So that's why I really enjoyed doing all those extracurriculars.
Yeah, very good. Well, then it makes me move to the next question. And, how did you manage that workload of, being a teenager? I know that not only were you highly active in athletics and the clubs and organizations, but I know that you played AAU basketball outside of school even throughout the year. And how did you manage that workload, the homework, but also how did you achieve at the highest level in all those areas as well?
It was kind of trial by fire. I didn't really, when I was doing my, especially first that first year of the AP, it was kind of like I didn't really have a choice. I was forced to learn to manage my time. And so like it was just finding times throughout the day to get my homework done, whether it be right after school, whether it be in the car on the way to practices, whether it be on the bus on the way to track meets, or just even sometimes at lunch or before school, just getting things done. And that really prepared me for like some of the heavier workload classes. Like right now I'm taking a college class as well, SE4, and things like that, where I don't think I would necessarily be as prepared if I hadn't been forced to make up time and find time to do my homework when I was, younger in high school. So I think that it's something I got used to. I got much better with it, especially in my freshman year, especially quarantine. Didn't necessarily always have the best work habits, but junior and senior, I did a very good job of finding time to do all my work.
Very good. So let's take a shift now to your senior year, and congratulations, you got a basketball scholarship at the Fairleigh Dickinson. We watched them in the NCAA tournament, which was exciting to see your future teammates during March Madness. But you've actually hit on it a few times. And you keep talking about how, what you're doing now has really been preparing you for the next 4 years. And that's the premise of tonight, is to talk about, how the 4 years will prepare you for life after high school, regardless of what your plan is. But also AP classes have definitely prepared you as well in terms of credit. Let's go back and talk a little bit about what that means for what the next 4 years looks like as you go to Fairleigh Dickinson.
So for my AP credits, I have passed 9. I've taken 9 AP exams and I passed 9 so far, and those usually translate to a few credits each, depending on the class. But not all of them necessarily will translate to the exact courses that you're taking. So, for example, I have multiple English credits, but I probably will not go far beyond my gen ed English classes. So it's, I technically I think it's like 30 something credits, but not all of them will get used. Regardless, it's definitely prepared me. The work and the athletics and trying to balance things has made it not necessarily easy. It's not going to be easy for me because just like you guys, I'm getting ready to go somewhere new with a bunch of new people. But I think it's definitely prepared me more than some of my peers who might not have taken as tough of classes or have been forced to learn to balance things like that. So yeah, I think I'm pretty prepared based on the APs and the courses and the clubs and things that I've taken.
That's great. Well, I think you've really set a great example for not only your school, but also for the audience here tonight and people that watches this recording as they prepare for, their 4 year plan for high school and beyond. So I always end one question with the panelists for their segment is, what's the best advice that you give students that are about to enter their first year in high school and possibly even take on the same challenges that you did with AP classes or being very active in the school and the community?
My best advice would probably be just to try to be friendly with everyone. It's you really only get one high school experience. You're only going to get 4 years, so try to make it as memorable as possible. And that's not just about your peers. It's about one, having a good relationship with yourself. If you're not happy with yourself, then you're going to have trouble doing your work. You have trouble being involved. So that's number one. And also, don't forget about your teachers. Don't forget about the lunch ladies, things like that, because you'd be surprised. Just ask them how their weekend is, or telling them what's up, or things like that. How it really makes their day, and they enjoy it. And you want to be on their good side as much as you want them to be on your good side, right? So I think it's just things like that, where you don't necessarily have to go out of your way all the time, but just try to be friendly to people, and try to make people, see you in a positive light, because like I said, it's 4 years of high school, and your reputation is going to precede you always. So just try to make it as memorable as possible, and make sure as many people kind of enjoy your presence.
Well, thank you so much, Tyler, for that opening segment. I just can't thank you enough for, kicking off the evening the way you have, and coming on here to share your experiences from Portland Northern. It was so great to listen to Tyler talk about not only the advanced placement AP classes that he's really focusing on, and his opportunity to challenge himself in the classroom and prepare for college and earn free college credit towards his degree from a college or university at Fairleigh Dickinson to come, but also to hit on the points of what it's like as a high school freshman, and what it's like to manage your time and make friends and be kind, and to really take advantage of the whole high school experience for 4 years, and what that can actually offer you throughout your plan. And here in his plan, coming to the end here through high school graduation is really the biggest achievement that Tyler has accomplished so far. So thank you, Tyler. We'll come back to you during the question and answer segment here in a little bit. We're going to move to our second panelist, and we're going to shift gears a little bit and talk a little bit about the Tech Center in a Career and Technical Middle College. So our guest is coming from Marysville High School, Peyton Holberg. Peyton, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, Peyton, I've heard a lot about you and a lot of success in not only Marysville High School, but also in the St. Clair Technical Education Center here on St. Clair County Reese's campus. So tell us a little bit about yourself and the program that you're in at St. Clair County Tech.
So I go to Marysville High School, and then at Tech, I go to the Health Careers Nursing Assistant program. So it's kind of like a program where I went all of last year, and my junior year, I went and I worked towards getting my nursing assistant certificate. And then this year, I'm spending a lot of my time going and interning. But that's my program. That's where I go to school.
That's great. Well, we're going to touch base on a lot of that coming up here, Peyton, because I got a lot of questions for you for the audience. So, but let's go back kind of like Tyler talked about. And, what was it like when you were an eighth grader and you started, ending middle school, and you're going to become a freshman at Marysville High School? Talk to us a little bit about what that was like as an experience.
It was definitely a very intimidating experience. You are going into a whole new school. For me, I met a whole new group of friends. I met a whole new bunch of people, but I definitely agree. Don't limit yourself, go out and meet new people. I made a lot of new friends when I went to high school. I made a lot of good friends, met good people in high school. And even though I didn't have the bigger school like Northern where multiple middle schools converge, it was still like, you see how people change over time. So the same people you're friends with in middle school may not be your same friends in high school. And that's not a bad thing, in my opinion. I really enjoyed meeting new people and becoming friends with more new people.
Wow. Yeah, that's it really hits on what Tyler was talking about. And I appreciate that so much, Peyton. So Peyton, you're ninth grade and 10th grader, you're taking your classes at Marysville High School. When did you become interested in tech? Because tech started, as you just mentioned, your junior year. When did that interest start to come up, and when were you starting to plan to attend St. Clair County Tech?
So I mainly learned about it at the end of my freshman year. And that's when I knew back then my goal was to be a pharmacist. That was my goal my freshman year. And I ended up switching it once I got closer to joining the tech program. I wanted to become a nurse. And so all throughout my 10th grade year, it really motivated me, keep your grades up so that you qualify for the tech program. It really helped to keep my grades up, keep that homework coming in. Because personally, I used to very much struggle with getting my homework done. I was not a huge fan. 6 classes can make for a lot of homework, but using the tech program, wanting that opportunity really helped motivate me throughout my end of my 9th grade and all of my 10th grade year.
Very good. So just like Tyler, you were preparing for the tech program. So and now tech you had to apply, correct? So you applied your 10th grade year, you got accepted.
Yes.
And so talk to us about what it was like as a junior in your specific tech program.
Well, yeah, when you first start your junior year, all you really have to go on is an email that tells you, okay, these are the acceptance to your morning program, and these are the acceptance to your afternoon program. Show up to the bus loop at this time, and you don't know where you're going. And at least for us, I was following right after COVID. So I hadn't seen the building. I hadn't seen anything. So you just showed up to the bus loop, got on a bus, and went to your program. And it was, my first year was really a big class setting. You went and you learned, for my nursing program, we learned skills on how to be an aide, and we learned all like a bit of anatomy and physiology, health law, anything that you might need to know to be an aide, and more. For a lot of people, when you become a nurse aide, you go through a 2-week program. Well, they covered a lot more than just what being a nurse aide is, because you go there for a whole year and you learn a bunch of different medical things. You get college credit in medical terminology. It was really, I really enjoyed my first year, really showing up. That's where you get to meet all the people that you might be working with and interning with your second year.
Very good. And so, and for the audience, I know this and you know this too. What was your schedule like going to tech and going to Marysville? You were an AM tech, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so there's an AM session and there's a PM session. So tell us what a normal day looks like for you with your schedule.
So for an AM tech student, it gets rid of 3 of your classes. So tech covers it. Once you start tech, any electives you don't have done are covered. So you don't have to worry about, oh, when am I going to fit in this arts credit to graduate? It covers it. You don't have to worry about electives once you join tech. And it covers 3 classes. So for me in the morning, I got to school. I pretty much got there, got on a bus and went to tech. And then you spend 2.5 hours at tech learning about whatever subject that you go into. And then when you leave, for at least for Marysville, you have about I think I had 50 minutes to an hour where it was like a study hall. I didn't have a class to attend, but I was done at tech. So you could go and you could get your homework done. And with only 3 classes left at the end of the day, you have much less homework. So it definitely helps manage your workload when you do tech, because I either had very minimal amounts of homework from tech or none at all.
So you really had a 50-50 day. You were half in the building at Marysville and half of the building at tech. Very good. So talk a little bit to the audience about your first year, the difference between your first year now as a senior in high school, your second year at tech, and senior at Marysville High School.
So for this year, I joined the middle college program. I'm in the CTMC program. So when I started this year, I had one high school class that I still needed to do. I still needed to get a history credit. So I'm taking that online. So I don't have to attend my high school at all. I think I've been there twice this year. And other than that, I have been able to do all my high school from home. And then for college, in the beginning of the year, I went 2 days a week to 2 courses at SE4. And this semester, I am entirely online for my schedule for my second year. So I don't have to go to high school or college to get my work done. And then I get to intern at Marwood, which is a paid internship. So I go and I work there a couple times a week, 8-hour shifts. And that covers my normal tech. So I only have to go to tech once every 2 weeks on Fridays, I think it is. So my schedule is very open. I have work to do because it's online, but it's, do I need to do this work at 8 a.m, or can I just wait and do it at 7 o'clock at night when I have time?
Well, I'm going to ask you the same thing I asked Tyler. How do you manage not only the workload that's so heavy, but also the workload coming from so many different directions in the position that you're in right now?
Yeah, well, you do end up with like 5 or 6 different emails, all from the different schools you're attending. So there's a lot of different things to manage and look at. But in reality, like I have a calendar on my phone. That's normally where you keep like your important test dates. Like my first semester, I took anatomy and physiology. You have 6 quizzes and 6 tests in the course I was in. So that's where you keep your test dates, you manage your courses, and you kind of just have to find, whether it's a planner or a calendar, a way to like consolidate where you're keeping your information. And once you do that, it becomes very easy to manage. So like I'm coming up on, for college, finals is this upcoming week. So after today, I will have finals next week, and I think it's a research paper, and then I have 1 quiz or 1 test, and that's it. And then I'm done for a majority of my work for the entire rest of the year.
Well, and to go back a little bit, we're going to rewind. You mentioned Career and Technical Middle College, or as we call it, CTMC. And so you're a senior at Marysville High School. You're taking your college classes through the middle college, through tech, and you're going to tech. So what does year 13 look like for you at CTMC?
So yeah, once you get to year 13, you're done with tech. You don't really have to do that other than to meet with the advisor for the CTMC program. And so you don't have any high school classes anymore. You don't have any tech classes. You aren't obligated to any internships through tech anymore. So my main focus is on getting those college credits. So I'm taking 16 credits worth of classes for both of my next semesters. It's 5 courses. And it's all focusing on just, now you can get your prereqs done for whatever course you're deciding to go into. For me, I'm focusing on a finance approach, a business finance degree. And so it's more, you're spending a lot of time figuring out, like this, I recommend it's a good time to figure out where you want to go. You have your college classes paid for. As long as you pass them, the middle college pays for them. So if you were unsure about something, on the fence about do I want to go into nursing or business or accounting or political science degree, like there are so many different routes to go, and you can use this time to explore your interests, which is kind of what I've been doing, learning. I took a medical math class. I've taken an anatomy and physiology class. I'm taking, I think, a business course next semester, just to kind of test the waters of what I want to do.
Wow. And so after your 13th year, what's the plan for after that, after CTMC, and you've, graduated from Marysville High School, St. Clair County TEC, and the middle college?
So for me, that is going to be like, after next year, I think I'm going to sign up for a summer semester and a fall semester to continue at SC4. And they have a partnership with the Walsh College. So for me, after I get done here, I'm going to take my last few classes I need at SC4 and then continue my education onto my bachelor's through Walsh. So I think it's 3 semesters there after I'm done, and then I get to finish up and I'll have my bachelor's degree. So I think I'll be around 20 by the time I have my bachelor. So doing the middle college program definitely helped me get ahead and definitely made college a lot cheaper of an experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And I definitely don't want to skip out on the industry credential that you also are receiving from your tech program, which is talk to us a little bit about that. What was that after just the 2 years of just being in your tech program? What are you earning?
So it's actually, you earn your industry credential after just your first year. You go through and you take a test to become a certified nursing assistant. So in reality, I now have this thing to carry with me. I have a CPR/basic life support certification, and then I have my CNA, or certified nursing assistant certification, that puts me eligible to work at almost any hospital, any kind of care facility. Once you're old enough, you can work in home care. It gives you a lot of avenues to go down once you finish at Tech. So it definitely set me off in a better direction. I can go almost anywhere. I mean, it's the medical field is always in need of people. So it really set me up for success.
Yes, it has. And wow, what a, I'll say it again, and Tyler did it, and now you have taken advantage of multiple opportunities that have come your way throughout the 4 years, because you had a plan, not a concrete plan, but you had an idea and a passion and interest, and you've taken advantage of a lot of opportunities. So congratulations. Well, I'm going to finish with my last question that I get so excited about asking. What is your best piece of advice, Peyton, for students that are about to enter high school and maybe are interested in the same path that you've taken at Tech or at CTMC, or maybe just in high school in general?
I would definitely say don't be afraid to take the jump. Like, don't be afraid to not do Tech because it's something new and it's different. And it's like you already went through something scary going to high school. You don't want to have to go somewhere new all over again. And you meet new people all over again. I made some of my favorite and best friends at Tech. That's where I met some of my favorite people. Even though they don't go to Marysville, you become acquainted with people from all over, all the different schools in St. Clair County. And then after I joined Tech, I was offered middle college, another jump, going to another school. And it just, don't be afraid to take those leaps. Definitely try different things, even if it's not middle college. It's like dual enrollment or internships. Don't be afraid to try the new things that come your way.
Well, thank you so much, Peyton. That is absolutely amazing what you've accomplished in your 4 years in high school. And I just want to say congratulations to you for all that you've accomplished. Peyton was here to talk about Tech and the Tech programs and CTMC. But as you see, he expanded beyond that, talked about not limiting yourself, taking the jump, trusting yourself, trying new things, making new friends throughout all 4 years, all these different opportunities that are available for you. But he also hit on some very important things that Tyler talked about, earning free college credits while you're in high school. And then also he was, like Tyler, was taking care of prereqs and, general education classes that colleges and university require for you to take on the way to your associate or your bachelor's degree, and also earning industry credential that he can get employment today after his first year at St. Clair County Tech. So thank you so much. Once again, another option, another pathway that you can be considering if this is an interest of you as you enter high school for the next 4 years. So we're going to shift gears one more time with our final guest. He's been on our panel before last year for this event and is here to talk about another middle college opportunity that's available here in St. Clair County. Max Kenny, he is a freshman at U of M and is going to talk to us today about Blue Water Middle College. So Max, welcome back. We're so excited to have you here sharing your story again.
Hi, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Max, tell us first off what high school you attended and, really the activities and sports and athletics that you were involved in while you were in high school.
I attended Port Huron Northern High School all 4 years. And most of what I did was I played football, I wrestled, I ran track, and then I also worked several different jobs while I was in high school.
Very good. And I'm going to go the same question, follow suit for the first two panelists. Take us back to your 8th grade year. You were finishing up middle school, about to enter Port Huron Northern. What was that like as a freshman in high school?
Honestly, it was I wasn't so much as intimidated as most people might be, because I was coming in with a very big group of friends that were all taking similar classes as me. So I knew that I'd know people in the classes I was in. It was a little intimidating being surrounded by so many people that I didn't know, but being in sports, I'd already met a lot of people from the other schools that would be converging into Port Huron Northern with me. So it wasn't like I'd be completely unfamiliar with everybody that I was in classes with.
Okay.
So
very good. And we talked a little bit last year, you kind of right away had some interest in some of your classes that you were taking. And I think it was a STEM class, right? Is that where kind of your interest started? Take me back to like what those classes were like at the beginning of your high school career.
So in my sophomore year of high school, I actually enrolled in a class at Port Huron Northern called Intro to Biomedical Sciences. And I didn't know anyone in that class. And I really wasn't enjoying my time because I kind of just sat there and like didn't talk to anyone. So it was just like an hour of my day where I'd go learn about something that I thought I was going to be interested in, but really wasn't. So I ended up switching into the other STEM class that had just opened that year, which was Intro to Engineering. That one of my friends was in. They had some open slots and let me go into that. And that really like opened my eyes to the world of engineering, kind of got me really involved in what I wanted to do with my future, which was go into some form of engineering. So that kind of led me down the path to eventually go to the Blue Water Middle College, kind of after I had already exhausted all of Northern's resources to go through engineering classes.
Okay. And so, yeah, and I love it. It's with Tyler and Peyton, they talked about it too. You know, they came into high school, they settled in, you know, they had friends, they made new friends, you know, they got acclimated with the new surroundings and, you know, right away in high school. But then, you know, things started to pique their interest, you know, classes and, you know, tech and AP and for you it was the STEM class, and now all of a sudden you can't take any more engineering classes, so you looked at Blue Water Middle College. So when did you go into the middle college, and talk to us about what it was like entering that in high school?
So it's around your junior year. You apply during the end of your sophomore year. You have to go through an interview and talk to one of the department heads at the Blue Water Middle College. It used to be Matt Ruiz. I'm not for sure if it is anymore, but you have an interview with him. He kind of walks you through what you'll be doing at the middle college, gives you the whole 3-year plan of what you'll be going for, gives you some information on why it's a good idea, all the benefits that you're going to receive from it, like the free classes. That was one of the main things that really enticed me to come. And then another thing that he touches on is a lot of people that go into the middle college are really afraid of the fact that you don't get your high school diploma until you finish the middle college program, that being after you finish your 13th year. And a lot of people are really afraid that, like, what if I drop the middle college program? What's going to happen to my high school diploma? And he kind of alleviates those fears by explaining the fact that they can't withhold your diploma. So if you meet all of your high school requirements by the end of your senior year, you will get your diploma even if you leave the middle college program. And I've known people that have done that just go there to get the extra college credits and then move on to a 4-year institution as well.
Okay. So you applied your sophomore year and you got accepted. So let's talk about what it was like, much like Peyton did your junior year, because things shift a little bit. So what did your schedule look like going in as a junior in the middle college?
So my sophomore year was when I really started working jobs. So I wanted to touch on that because that kind of comes into play
Yeah,
with
absolutely.
middle college as well. So going into my junior year, I took 4 classes at Port Huron Northern, and then I took 2 classes the first semester at SE4, and then I took 2 classes the second semester at SE4. So my day was really, I would get out around 4th hour at Port Huron Northern. You can do some things as well where you take a class in the middle of the day. The only restriction is you can't take a class before 11 o'clock because they don't want you speeding to get to the college. So you can take one from 11 o'clock to any other time, or you can do some weird things with the middle college and take one during, say, like your 2nd hour at Port Huron Northern. And then you just have to come back for your 5th or 6th hour at Northern. As long as you're there for a total of 4 hours, you can take classes at any time during the day. So I would go to Port Huron Northern, take my 4 classes in the morning, and then I would go to SE4, take 1 class that was about an hour long during the first semester. It was called College Success. You have to take it as a Blue Water Middle College student. And then I would have about a 30-minute break in between the 2 classes. And then I'd go take my second class, which was sociology, because at the time, even though I was in those STEM classes, I wasn't sure engineering is what I wanted to do. And business is really heavy in my family's background. So I was originally going for a business degree. So I was just taking some prerequisites, kind of getting acclimated to the college environment and everything like that. And then on top of that, on the days that I didn't have college, because I only had college on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I worked on Mondays and Wednesdays. I was able to do about 5 hours each day. So even with the workload from college. And then the second semester was a little more hectic because some of the engineering classes, because I decided to start taking engineering classes since it was really piquing my interest at the time. They're 3-hour block classes, which is really a lot. So I would get out of school, I would go take a class immediately after 4th hour at SC4, and then I would have a 3-hour gap in between those 2 classes, and then I would have to come back and take another 3-hour engineering class. So my day would end around 10 o'clock, but that was only twice a week.
Okay. Very good. So that's your first year. And you hit, and I'm going to touch base a little bit on that, but it's college. You're going to college half the day. And part of, going to college and then universities, your schedule is different. You don't have 5 days where you have 6 classes. And so some days the classes are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or a Tuesday, Thursday, or, they're offered at different days. And so you took advantage of not only that, but you are also working. And so you're earning college credit, working and taking high school at the same time. So I just wanted to make sure with that to really get that out there, because you were busy, much like Peyton and Tyler. You were maxing out the opportunities that were available in high school. So good for you. So you're done with your first year. You go to a senior year in high school. Talk to us about what that year was like in the middle college.
So the first semester was really, it was pretty good. Everything was kind of, it was actually during second semester in my junior year that COVID happened. So that actually derailed a lot of my engineering classes, and I forgot to talk about that. But now that COVID's kind of in the past and it's not as shocking as it used to be. There's not really as much disruption in the college system. There are a lot more online classes offered, so I won't really touch on the changes that happened from COVID. But my senior year, I took 3 classes at Port Huron Northern and then 3 classes at the college. So they were all engineering classes at this point. I wasn't really taking any other classes. So I had those 3-hour block classes. And then I also had a biology class because I had to meet the high school graduation requirements. So that was another class that I took. And I was actually able to get all my classes to line up to work on 2 days again. So I had 3 hours of class twice a week or 3 times a week, and then I wouldn't have anything after that. So I got to go home after that, which is like one of the draws of the middle college program if you really don't want to be at school for that long. But on those days that I did have college, I was normally there from the moment I got out of high school to about 10 o'clock at night. So, but that's kind of an anomaly in the sense that the engineering classes are very, very long.
Very good. And so third year, you're in your 13th year of the middle college, no longer at Northern. Talk to us about what that 13th year looked like, that much like Peyton had and has in CTMC.
So the 13th year was pretty good. A lot of the people that I had been in the program with had been with me for about 2 years at this point. So I pretty much knew everyone that was in the electrical engineering program. We were all pretty close. We all got along in class. The class sizes are very small, so you get a very intimate relationship with your teachers. You get to have conversations with them whenever, and the classes are very relaxed. It's very different than high school. So at this point, I was having a lot of fun in the classes. A lot of them were labs, so we got to just go into lab, learn stuff, and have a great time while doing it. And I was taking fully SE4 classes, taking a credit load of between 16 and 18, or 16 and 18 credit hours, depending on which semester. And the workload was pretty fine. I couldn't get it how it was previously, where I only had classes twice a week. So I had classes about 4 times a week. But the thing with SE4 is they don't actually do classes on Friday. So you'll always have a 3-day weekend to kind of catch up on homework, which is normally what I used it for, or to read the textbooks to get ahead, or do whatever you really need to do to make sure that you stay on top of your classwork.
Well, I'm going to pause really quick and ask you the same thing I asked Tyler and Peyton. What would be your advice? And because it's advice when I ask this question for the audience, how did you handle that workload? There was a lot going on in the last few years. What was your kind of strategies for managing that workload and achieving at a high level?
I think taking advantage of all those little moments in the day that you have some breathing room is very important. Like that 30-minute break between my classes, I wouldn't just sit there and sit on my phone for 30 minutes. I would be there reading a textbook or doing some homework for a class that wasn't coming up directly, or maybe was due the next day. I think that's really important because all that little time kind of adds up if you don't actually do anything during it. Say you have a 10-minute break here, a 15-minute break there, a 30-minute break a little later. You've just wasted 45 minutes of your day if you're not going to actually take care of it, or even longer, really.
That's great. And another thing I'd like to highlight is the degrees that you earned. Peyton talked about it in a level of what he's getting industry credentials, the degrees that he's earning, as well as the experience. Tyler talked about the college credits and the experiences he's getting. What are you accomplishing through the middle college? Did you walk out of Blue Water Middle College with and take with you to U of M?
I actually was able to, because of the similarities in the program, I was able to get 2 different associate degrees, one in electrical engineering and one in mechatronics engineering. And beyond that, I also was able to be a teacher's assistant to some of the engineering professors, just because I was I was very attentive in class. So specifically with Don Ruba, I had a great times with him. He's one of the faculty members on the Megatron, or that does mechatronics, specifically fluid power and control. I was able to do a lot of work with him. And then directly because of the degrees that I got at SE4, I was able to get a college right after that, or get a job right after that 13th year as a intern as a controls engineer at Blue Water Controls in on Lapeer. So that was all great. And then because of the degrees that I got when I went to U of M, I was bringing in, I had about a credit total of about 74 credits, most of which weren't exactly or like directly accepted by the University of Michigan, just because the College of Engineering is very rigorous with their classes. I could get them to accept it if I was willing to go through a very detailed process of sending them a bunch of information like course syllabuses, examples of classwork, examples of me doing the classwork, a test, and a few other details that they've asked me for. But I've changed. I'm not really going for an electrical or engineering degree just because that was what was offered at SE4. That's what I went with. But I've transferred to aerospace engineering. But another thing that I really want to highlight is the degree that I got from SE4 directly translated into me getting a research position at the University of Michigan. I do research on zebrafish's neurons, just specifically the effect that ketamine has and why it's so effective as a drug that kind of alleviates the effects of drug-resistant forms of depression, PTSD, and schizophrenia. And because of the work that I did at SE4 and the skills that I gained from that, I was actually able to get that position pretty much overnight when I applied. So.
And so the opportunities they took advantage of continue to open up doors and opportunities for you now at U of M. Well, I'm so glad that you hit on that. So once again, that the three panelists are hitting on this, you know, how did it just prepare you? Because you were going in, you went to a new school a couple times now. Now you're at a new school. How did that prepare you for the U of M where you're at now?
I think the most important thing was just getting a understanding of the difference between high school classes and college classes, just because there's that big gap between what's expected of you. A lot of the times nowadays, teachers will tell you that college professors expect this out of you or that they'll expect that out of you, but there's no real comparison unless you actually get to work with college professors and see exactly what they want. Because a lot of the times it's a lot more relaxed and less strict than the high school teachers are telling you it's going to be, which is a weird thing to highlight. But like, for example, my college classes, I don't recommend doing this, but at the University of Michigan, my intro chemistry class, the lectures were very boring. I did not go to a lot of those lectures. So, and the attendance wasn't required. I don't recommend that you do that, but that's just what I did.
Well, it's finding that balance, and I think you have definitely showed how to be successful doing that. Well, I'm going to end the panel discussion with you and asking this question that I've asked the previous two panelists. What advice would you give an 8th grade student that's about to enter their freshman year in high school and may be considering the same path that you took, that took you through Blue Water Middle College and at SC4 Community College?
I have kind of two important things that I want to highlight, and one of them is to really take seriously the AP exams, because when you get to like a 4-year college or institution like the University of Michigan, AP exams hold precedent a lot more than college credits do, because I brought in college credit for calculus from SE4, but because of the rigor of U of M's, they wouldn't actually accept my calculus credit. So I had to retake that class, and they did the same thing with my physics credit that I was bringing in, but they'll actually accept them as AP credits. I got a 4 on the AP calc exam, and they wouldn't accept that. If you get a 5, they'll accept it, and it really saves you a ton of time and a lot of stress, because these classes are weeders at these universities. They're very difficult, and it's to kind of weed you out of the program just because of how many people are in there. It's not very fun. I really recommend taking the AP classes more seriously than I did when I was in high school. And then another piece of advice that I would probably give is to not be afraid to ask questions when you're going to things like interviews for Blue Water Middle College or looking into the tech program, because a lot of the questions that you may have are just one simple answer away, and it might change your mind on whether you want to do it or whether you don't.
Well, thank you so much for joining us again, Max. It is so great to hear that you're doing well at U of M, and congratulations on all your accomplishments. You know, you heard it right there from Max. You know, Max, once again, saw the opportunities available for him in high school. You know, we brought him on today to talk about the Blue Water Middle College, and the Career and Technical Middle College, CTMC, and Blue Water Middle College do not compete against each other. They have a lot of similarities, a lot of differences, but they don't compete against each other for St. Clair County students. And Mac just gave a great description of what it is, but he also expanded beyond that. You know, he talked about college credits here at SE4 like Peyton did, but also gaining internships and free college credits that really allowed him to now take advantage of a lot of opportunities after high school graduation at the college that he's at of U of M. and opening doors for employment opportunities in high school and in college right now. Well, I think our panelists did a tremendous job and to talk about the opportunities that are available for you throughout the 4 years as you're starting tonight to think about what does the next 4 years look like for me for my career and college plans. So let's look a little bit at some resources that you can take a look at to help you with that. So you can go on the College Board website and take a look at AP courses that are offered by College Board. Not all these will be offered in your high school, but as you're taking a look at the course catalog of your high school, take a look at some of these that are offered by College Board, just to get an understanding of what AP classes are like and what Tyler was talking about. Next up, you can also visit the Blue Water Middle College website. This website can give you an understanding of what Max was talking about and what that offers you your junior and senior year and your 13th year, if that's the path that you're taking a look at. And then much like Peyton talked about, we have our St. Clair County TEC website, talks a little bit about expands about what TEC is, the 14 different technical education programs that they offer, and the resources that are available for students and families. And then, of course, there's a link there to take a look at the CTMC and the resources for you to explore that as part of your plan. And throughout the next 4 years, you can take a look at BWCAN's website. Our Blue Water College Access Network is St. Clair County's local college access network that is housed here at St. Clair County RESA. I'm also a part of that as well. And it houses all our career and college information at bwcan.org. Once again, that's www.bwcan.org. Here you'll find not only a recording of this webinar, but all of our past webinars, as well as college stories over the past few years that we've been producing. You can also subscribe to the BWCAN newsletter. And here you'll get a lot of updates from not only St. Clair County RESA, Blue Water Middle College, CTMC, but also our community and state partners. So without further ado, we're going to get to one of my favorite parts as well, is the Q&A segment, where we talk to our panelists about some of the information that you heard. And I saw also there's already a question here in the chat, so I will read it off. I think Peyton, if you want to, and Max and Tyler, if you guys want to bring your cameras back up, and I'll bounce around a little bit. So this one is for you, Peyton. What other classes are available at CTMC?
From what I've talked with our advisor, it's pretty much the middle college is like a fun way of saying it's not like a building or anything. You just go to SC4, and then the classes that are available are very much, I don't know where the limit is, but it's a lot of your general education classes at SC4. I think there are certain, I don't know how it is for Blue Water Middle College, but for TEC, I know they try and keep you within like what TEC offer. So like TEC doesn't have like a business program there, so they try to keep you within, like, they offer prereqs for nursing, they offer engineering type things, because for like the people that go for like I'm trying to think of the program names.
No, I think it's engineering and mechatronics is the program that's correct at CTMC.
Yes, that is the word I was looking for. Thank you. But I know I don't think there's many limits. So it's pretty much what SC4 has to offer for class load.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good. Well, I just received a private chat here directly to me for you, Tyler. Tyler, it's asking a little bit about your career path and how the AP classes, it says, what AP classes really were you mostly interested in, and did they lead to a career path for you at Fairleigh Dickinson?
I would say I really enjoyed the history classes and the math classes. So I took AP United States History, AP Government, AP World History. Then for math, I took AP Calculus and AP Stats. And in a sense, yes, it did. I'm going to go into business, and I'm going to go into finance at FDU. And so I think that the math classes, especially the statistics and things like that, definitely helps, because and as far as finance goes, I'm definitely considering some of the math portions of it, like some modeling and things like that. So yes, I would say that it did definitely pique my interest and show me kind of the possibilities of what I could go into using those courses.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you hit on it too. Some of those types of classes that you took may show up again in your major, especially being a business major. And so just having not only that experience, but, you know, having a class at that level, pushing yourself and achieving in high school, when those show back up on your career path and as you enter that program in that specific college of the university, really going to help you. So great question. And audience, please feel free to ask questions out the chat. We'll continue to monitor there and see if there's any here in the next few minutes before we end the segment this evening. Great question. This is for anybody with AP classes. And it says, I can't remember, but who mentioned it, but there are AP classes that do not count for college credit. Max, Tyler, do you want to, Max, I see you just unmuted, so let me bring you up there. Are there some classes that don't count for college credit?
Specifically, like, don't count at all. I know that at least when I was coming out of high school, AP Seminar, it's a very good class. I highly recommend taking it. It was a lot of fun, but I don't know if it translates to any college credits anywhere as of right now. They might have changed it, but when I was coming out of college, it didn't. And then specifically for what I said when it came to not counting for AP credits, some schools have different standards that they hold for AP credit transferring. The University of Michigan College of Engineering is mostly you need a 4 or a 5 on the exam to actually get credit for it. Most of the time it's a 5, unfortunately, even though a 3 is considered passing. But it just depends on the college you're going to. SC4, a lot of theirs are 3, 4s, or 5s, and they'll accept it. So I don't know if anyone else has anything to add, but that's what my experience was with it.
Tyler, did you have anything to add with that in terms of getting your college, your credits transferred over to Fairleigh Dickinson?
Yeah. As far as the seminar and it's like the AP capstone thing, it's seminar and research. I've been told that it kind of depends on the school, and more our schools are accepting it now. But yeah, like there are some schools who don't necessarily honor those, but then there are some schools who accept the capstone program. So it's like AP seminar, AP research. So it kind of just depends on the school. And like Maxwell said, like a lot of schools have different standards, depending on the school. Some schools will accept anything passing. Some schools will accept only 4s and 5s, or some schools will only accept 5s. And there are a few where, you know, they just really want you to take their classes. So it varies a lot based on schools. Or like at FDU, there are a few of the program, or the few of the classes that you need to have a 4 to get credit for, as opposed to just passing. It kind of varies depending on the school.
And I'm going to, you guys have opened up a good topic here, because I'm going to move to Peyton too, because Peyton talked about it, you know, the transferring piece, even though this is really far out in the 4-year plan, you know, but this is at the end of the 4-year plan. You talked about a partnership with Walsh College. Talk about the partnership piece and your classes transferring over there, much like Maxwell and Tyler just talked about.
So with SC4, there is like, you can have like your Michigan transfer agreement, which goes to any college throughout the state of Michigan, which are like your general courses. They're not very specific, but then SC4 has colleges they're partnered with, they have partnerships, and they're very specific specialties, very, like for Walsh, it was mainly like business type. I think there was accounting, business, IT, things like that. There was only 4 of them. And they're like where you take SC4 classes that specifically replace certain classes of theirs, so that you can take as much as you can at the, what is a big thing for me is the cheaper community college price. So for me, it was taking those classes through SC4, and then there's only certain classes that you have left to take at Walsh. And I think there's like a nursing one through Michigan State. There are a few different ones, but they're specific, but they are very beneficial in my experience.
Well, very good. And that's a topic, you know, that I'm really glad we hit on, was the transfer piece and making sure the opportunities that you're taking advantage of in high school move forward with the free college credits, and that it counts towards a degree, whether it's associate's or a bachelor's. Well, I just want to say to the audience tonight, congratulations. You have started your 4-year plan for high school. Not only do you know some of the advice and the tips to transitioning into your 9th grade year and being successful in 9th grade, but now you've seen a lot of the opportunities that you can put into your 4-year plan before high school graduation. And I'd like to reiterate one more time, it's okay to be interested in multiple careers at this time, multiple colleges, multiple pathways. You could be interested in everything that Tyler, Max, and Peyton just talked about, and that's perfectly fine. Put it in your plan. Over the next few years, it's going to organically work its way out as you develop a passion for a career or passion for your future after high school graduation. I want to take a moment to give a special thank you to our panelists, because we know this is an extremely busy time for students. And as you heard with Peyton, Maxwell, and Tyler, they're all extremely maxed out in their schedule, and they have been for years. And they took the time to be here tonight to share their stories with us. I'm Nick Boudreau from St. Clair County RESA. I look forward to working with you and your family over the next 4 years, further developing these career and college plans. So we will see you next fall. Have a good evening.
Can I add one last thing?
Yeah, Max, go ahead.
Adding on to what Peyton said, another thing, if you have a specific college that you're interested in going to, normally they have a portion on their website specifically dedicated to transfer and transfer credits. So I know like U of M, which like I circle back to a lot, but that was like the only school I applied to, so I know the most about them. They have a specific page dedicated to looking at transfer equivalencies from colleges around Michigan and around the United States. So you can just type in the college that you go to, type in the class that you're looking at, and then it'll tell you if the college has a transfer equivalent. Say, so at U of M, Calc 215, or I mean Math 215, which is Calc 2, or Calc 3 has a transfer at SC4, which is like Math 293. So that's a really useful tool to look at. I know a lot of people that go into the middle college only target classes that transfer specifically to the college they want to go to. So they stay for that first and second year, which is junior and senior, and then take the credits that they've gotten here to the college they want to go to. So
fantastic. Max, thanks again for hitting on that point. I just can't thank the panelists enough. Thank you so much. You guys have accomplished so much in your 4 years. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a good night.